Back in 2020, I had so many chiropractors frantically email me because their state was forcing them to close their practice. And one message always stuck out. But before I get to that, let me give you some context for those of you that might not know who I am. My name is Dr. Matthew Loop, best-selling author of Social Media Made Me Rich. Here's how it can do the same for you. And over the last 18 years, I've trained over 8,500 chiropractors on how to grow their practices quickly using social media and to create additional streams of income online on top of their practices. I've also helped them build their practice 20 to 50 new patients per month, creating new possibilities in their marketing. I've coached docs like yourself on how to create multiple five-figure per month income streams from the internet using affiliate marketing, selling online courses, software, Amazon selling, coaching, consulting, launching books, apps, membership sites, etc. Because I've sold millions upon millions with these, and I've taught these docs sets of skills that pay them for life in any economy, up or down. So to give you an idea, I'm not a newbie. I've been around the block a while. Going back to the story though, Dr. Frank said the following. He said, I'm watching my practice tank in a matter of a week. I've gone from 140 per day to 29 visits today if they all show up. I'm pissed that I don't have other sources of income, but I'm working on it now. I'm beside myself as I watch my practice that I've worked my ass off for dwindle. That was a wild time, I'm sure you'd agree. But do you think it can't happen again? Have you used this last 4 years to make your income corona and recession proof? Are your finances set up like the Parthenon? If one pillar goes down, do you have others supporting the structure? How many new sources of income have you created since 2020? That time period should have been a hard wake-up call for chiropractors, but there's still many docs who didn't take my advice. They still only have their primary practice income and maybe another small stream here or there. This is very risky. Which brings me to why we're on the training here together today. It's the most important webinar I've done in a very, very long time, so pay close attention and take notes. I'm going to teach you how to buy automated cash flowing businesses and quickly turn your annual income into your monthly income without a lot of work and little money out of your own pocket, sometimes zero money out of your pocket. But I want to be very clear. This is not about you being a dancing bear and being the operator in another business. I'm not trying to give you another job. That's not the goal. The goal is passive income or very close to it. And my assumption is you're a chiropractor and you love what you do, but you just want to take care of your patients when you want, whether that's 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, or whatever your schedule. You want more freedom and flexibility. Learning this skill set I'm about to share is the absolute fastest way to generate an extra 5,000, 50,000, or 100,000 or more per month. It's also the quickest way to build more freedom and flexibility into your life. If I had to do it all over again, I didn't have my chiropractic license. You took my relationships and connections away from me. You took my notoriety in chiropractic, my email list, everything. If I had to do it all over again, this is what I would do. These principles are applicable to internet businesses as well as freestanding brick and mortar as well. Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. You know all these people and you know them for different reasons. However, the one thing that they have in common is they are all acquisition entrepreneurs. Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, now Meta. What did they buy? In the chat, what did they buy? Any guesses? Exactly. Instagram. What else did they buy? WhatsApp. WhatsApp. Those two allowed them to become arguably the biggest communication channel on the planet. So they've used this framework to grow very, very quickly. Now, you don't have to be at this level. You can apply it at the small business level if you want and take it. I mean, the sky is the limit. It truly is. Personally, I value freedom and flexibility in my life. I run my business from anywhere in the world, and it's a beautiful thing that we can travel and experience different cultures. That's very high on my list. And this skill set allows me to do that. I've been fortunate to speak in chiropractic on most of the stages, and outside of the profession, I've had the opportunity to have my book featured in International Business Times, Daily Wire, Harvard, and all these different places because I've been able to use not just social media, but this type of framework to get into circles. I mean, imagine being on a private island with a billionaire philanthropist serving you lamb tandoori. It's incredible. Sir Richard Branson. These opportunities, getting to network with another acquisition entrepreneur, or getting to share the stage with one of the foremost health experts in the world, Dr. Oz, or I should say the least most famous in the world. I've had lots of opportunities over the years because of how I've been able to use social media and the internet along with these types of skills. And I could go on and share this stuff with you. But I really want to share some advantages of buying established and stabilized businesses that are already making money. Number one, it's a proven business model with built-in brand equity. You can start generating cash flow from day one. Instant sales, instant customers, instant employees. This is totally different than starting a chiropractic practice from scratch, where you've got to build your brand equity over years. And then, yes, you do have recurring people in your office, maintenance patients. However, it's just not even close to the same thing. Now, with this, growth happens quickly and it can create passive income if done right. Now, here's what I look for personally when I'm considering to buy a business for cash flow. How much time out of my day does it involve? What am I willing to sacrifice? And this is different for everyone. There's no right or wrong, but you need to define what are you willing to sacrifice, how much time per day, what's good for you. Opportunity cost. If I don't buy this business, how much revenue am I missing every single month? What is that opportunity cost of not taking action right now to secure something? Did you know that over 80% of all small businesses in general doing up to $5 million a year are not going to sell for a lot of different reasons? That's crazy. So the massive opportunity is there. I also look at risk. Is the business recession proof? Is it corona proof? Is it established for at least 10 years? Now, is this a skill that I have to learn? I mean, is it like engineering? Or can I bring somebody in very easily to help me in operations and master this skill so it continues to be automated? Cash flow. Does the business have a high number of recurring clients? I want you to think about Amazon here. Most of their business actually comes from repeat buyers over and over and over and over. It's a beautiful thing. You don't have to be on the hamster wheel of always chasing new clients and customers. And also enterprise value. Does this business, maybe eventually you want to grow the business and then sell it in 3 to 5 years or just keep it for cash flow, but do you have a sellable model? That's also something else to consider, or what I consider when I buy. But the key to all of this is finding a motivated seller. Write that down. Preferably one that doesn't have a business broker, because sometimes brokers can just get in the way of deals. I've seen that time and time again. Now, you might ask, why would somebody sell an ultra profitable business? Well, there's a lot of different reasons that we might not have considered. Number one is they want to retire. They've been doing this 20 or 30 years, and yeah, they're making a lot of money, but they're just ready to exit. Relocation, who knows? They've got to urgently get up and move to another state. Divorce, it's unfortunate, but it happens to over 50% of the population here in the States. Burnout, some people just are burnt out. They don't even know they can hire other employees to help them for whatever reason. They just can't sell the business. That's another a factor. Other times it's a shiny object. They say, ooh, look what's over here. Maybe I just want to do this now, and I'm not as excited or passionate about this business anymore. Other times it's death, and the kids aren't ready to run the business, so they really need to sell it very, very fast. Partnerships go bad. That happens a lot. Health issues. We know that from being in practice. So this is another legitimate reason why somebody would sell an ultra profitable business. So here is a simple 5-step plan. Write this down. Ideally, you want to work as an investor above the business. Again, not necessarily in the operations, so where you're pushing buttons and have to be there, or even if it's a virtual business, manage it 6 hours a day. That's not the goal. Try not to risk your credit or your personal assets if possible. Source and analyze deals you want to acquire, or you can have me help you. Get creative and try to fund deals with little to zero money out of your own pocket. Earn profits, get paid, and build wealth. That's the name of the game. Now, in our Freedom Alliance Mastermind, our FAM, I help our clients do this all the time, and I've helped them secure different assets that produce cash flow every month. It's one of the things that I've been obsessed about the last several years as I've looked at the top 1% and seeing how they've scaled. In fact, this isn't even a top 1%. This is a top 0 or 0.001% strategy that the ultra wealthy have used to grow. And now I'm bringing it to you as a doctor. I'd like to share one of our recent deals just to give you a picture and an analysis. This was a motivated seller. The business was recession-proof, corona-proof. It wasn't seasonal, high profit margin, and cash flow. It was in my sweet spot acquisition criteria. Now, here's a sample acquisition criteria that I had at this point in time. I'd say I'm investing in and buying businesses doing at least $2 million in top-line revenue, at least $300K per year in net profit, with 4 or more employees. The company's been established for at minimum 10 years, and it's one of the following industries: virtual healthcare, HVAC, online tutoring, software as a service, or internet and media. And I just want to give you a peek at the profit and loss statement. And just to point something out here, again, you need to set a goal, what your ideal income is every single month on top of your practice, or if you want to replace it. Now, you can see here from October 2023, the net income at the very bottom, $130,912. That was pretty impressive to me. And so we looked at this deal. And by the way, this profit and loss statement is extremely simple. And here's another tip as you go through this world. Complexity is the enemy of profitability. Simple is better. We had a deal, 2 deals under letter of intent, in fact. And then one, the profit loss statement was, my goodness, 6 pages with like 8 font and all these something headings. It was really hard to track what was coming in, what was coming out. This one, on the other hand, was very, very easy. I didn't believe it at first, in fact, until I saw the books, the bank statements, the CPA, talked to him, and all these things. So these deals do exist. This one was established over 13 years ago. It didn't have a website, social media, or Google reviews. Now, some of you are probably like, no way. And I promise you, there are gold mines out there like this. Even if you have minimal marketing skill set and you know enough to get some reviews, my goodness, you can hockey stick growth a business very, very quick. Chiropractic market is extremely competitive with that stuff, but you'd be surprised on other markets. Now, initially, the seller wanted $2.75 million as the purchase price. TTM, trailing 12 months, SDE is just like the net profit, was $875,000, $2 million in revenue, which is just over a 3 multiple they wanted for the business. If you do 875,000 times 3, that's typically what this business was sold for. So 72,916 was the monthly average of the income. It was an owner-operated business, and owner-operated business, just like your solo practice, is always going to sell less, as opposed if you have an owner or a professionally managed company. So that's something to also think about and consider. Now, the SBA loan note, Small Business Association, was $34,500 per month. It's not something I'd typically recommend you go in if this is your first deal, but $34,500 per month. $38,416 was the estimated net profit at the time we did the numbers. Now, we were going to subtract about $7,000 per month because this was a one-woman show, by the way, running this business. One woman. So we're like, well, okay, well, let's minus $7,000 because we're going to bring in 2 new employees. Let's subtract another $1,000 a month because we plan on doing some Google AdWords and Facebook. So we're roughly about $30,416 per month. You times that by 12, that gives you $364,992. Divide that by the $411,000 that we initially injected for this deal, and that gives an 88% cash on return. Now, this didn't give an 88% cash on return, by the way. It gave about like 70%-ish, somewhere around there. So we weren't far off. And by the way, like I said before, it's better to go for the little to no money down approach. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Now, where do you find businesses for sale? Well, there are tons of broker websites out there, but just like on the MLS in real estate, if you go to these websites, you're going to be bidding with 50 other people, so you will never get the best deals. And what's going to happen is a lot of those sellers are going to expect large amounts of cash up front because that's what their brokers want them to do, because they have an incentive. This is why I said that these are not the best sites. You can get some practice on these sites, but if you go, you're going to pay way more, and you're just not going to be able to use what's available to you. Now, what's the first step in all this, though? Well, the first step is you need to start to build yourself as an investor in the market that you serve with people that you know, friends, colleagues, online, everywhere. People need to know you're an investor, and you need to really understand yourself. Okay, this is the 2.0 version of me. I'm an investor. We're starting to do this. And then next, you need to get your acquisition criteria. What will you acquire? What are your parameters? Now, off-market business deals, this is the holy grail, being able to generate leads of interested sellers, people that might not even know they want to sell the business yet. That way you can have a great conversation, no pressure, and create a win-win scenario. And you can be very creative with the financing because you just never know what somebody is going through. You never know what exactly they want. So always better to find the off-market deals and use the little to no money down approach. And I'm going to give you 7 ways that you can actually use this. The first one is owner carry seller financing. Just like in real estate, there are people out there that don't have a problem owner financing a certain percentage or maybe even the whole deal because it's going to save them so much money on taxes. If you sell a business for $1 million, bam, IRS is taking a lot of that money real quick. So that's not the most intelligent thing to do many times. Now, you can also do a deferred down payment where the business could potentially pay for the initial down payment to the seller over a certain period. That's great. You can also do a carve out. So you might look at a business and say, well, I don't really need the actual building or the real estate. So let's just carve that out of this deal. So that's going to take another $500,000 off the purchase price. You can also do revenue-based financing, which applies in some internet-based businesses like software, where they'll look at the financials and they'll say, wow, you got strong financials in this business. We're going to give you 60, 70% of the loan based on the income. That's a beautiful thing. You also have accounts receivable factoring. You in a chiropractic practice right now, you could take your accounts receivable, and if you wanted to, you could get a loan against those. So once you get into a business, you could do the same thing to recoup your investment. Now, you could also give your integrator, your manager, equity or profit share. They could buy into this business for sure. You could do an earnout, which means that a certain percentage of the sale price is paid at a later date, assuming the business maintains a certain profit level over a period of time. So those are just several factors, and I can give you many more too. Important questions to ask the seller when you buy a business. I've got a list of over 75 questions that I'm going to show you how to get access to in just a little bit, but they cover everything from determining if you're interested in buying a business to the financial performance of the business, to finding out how the business is valued, financing options, how to gather all the necessary documentation, common questions to ask during the due diligence period, learning about the day-to-day business management, and I promise you, all it takes is one strategic business acquisition to change the directory and upgrade your family's life. This is such a powerful thing, and I can speak from firsthand experience, and I've seen a lot of success in this area. Now, you need to ask yourself right now, does what I'm saying with you resonate with you? Does this sound like something that you want to get into? Or, you're just like, well, doesn't really fit me at this stage of the game. But going back to what I said before, the fastest way to turn your annual income into your monthly income is to master this skill set. You've got 2 options. You can go at it alone. You can learn this stuff, but it will come at a heavy price, a lot of hard knocks, time, energy, and some mistakes. Unfortunately, if you make those mistakes, they're going to crush you. Like, you might get into a deal, and what I said before, better to have a business that doesn't have a broker, because a broker can be very experienced. And there are some good ones out there. However, there are some sharks, and they will take advantage of you because they're all about the seller. So I would definitely proceed with caution. And, another mistake a lot of people make is they'll see a deal on the front end, and the seller will say, oh yeah, my revenue is this, my profit is this. These are the numbers, and it looks great. And they don't do a heck of a lot of investigation afterward And ultimately, they find out that the deal isn't what it was. The owner was kind of sneaking some stuff here and there. So that's another big mistake to be very, very careful of. And, you just want to be careful. Now, or you don't have to go at it alone. You can let somebody with a great deal of experience mentor you step by step along the way. And frankly, that someone is me. I've already figured out the business acquisition game, taken the expensive hard knocks, and I'm connected to a private network that's done billions in company exits. Actually, over 4 billion, in fact. I've invested over $70,000 of my own money to learn this skill set, and I've got the receipts to prove it. I've spent the last 4 years showing up, rubbing elbows with power players when the vast majority didn't. And if you follow me on social media, I'm sure you've seen our travels. I mean, we've been very fortunate and blessed to travel a lot. But when we're in these rooms, there are people there that are doing big things. And the fastest way that you can up-level your game is to get in those same rooms, because you have no choice but to grow. There's an old saying, sit with winners, the conversation is different. And it's totally true. So I've invested a lot of time, energy, and effort to be in these rooms. And so today, I've got an invitation for you to work with me directly, but there are limited spots available for this opportunity. I'm doing a 5-week business buying masterclass for chiropractors. It starts on Tuesday, November 19th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. Each live training is going to last about an hour, and I'll do a question-answer session afterward. You'll get access to the recordings, associated slides, video tutorials, resources, insights, the seller question list, and much more. Now, in this masterclass, I'm going to help you develop a business acquisition mindset. Again, this is going to be a mental block for a lot of people because they're like, well, I'm just a chiropractor and I do this. But reality is there's a lot of things that you are capable of and that you're already doing. You just might not realize it. So we're going to shift your mindset into one of an acquisition mindset. I'm also going to teach you how to position yourself as an investor, the right way to do this. And if you get this wrong, you're not going to land any deals. So I'll teach you exactly what I've done and what's worked. I'll show you how to create your perfect business acquisition criteria. If you just say, hey, I want to acquire any business, well, that's not a marker. That's not very specific at all. And unfortunately, you're going to get a lot of tire kickers, a lot of stuff that's not even worth your time. So you've got to be very dialed in and know what you want. And I'll help you with that. I'll teach you how to source the best high profit deals, not stuff that's going to waste your time. And I'll teach you how to source them on the market, which I don't usually recommend, but sometimes you can find gems, and off the market. And this is really the holy grail. I'll teach you how to competitively analyze your deals so you don't get burned. You'll understand and how to deploy deal funding strategies and structure. So potentially we can do little to no money out of our own pocket. I'll teach you how to navigate negotiations and the due diligence process and guide you through the actual purchase process. And then the fun really starts. If you want, I mean, sometimes you'll acquire a business and it's already doing great numbers and you don't have to market it. But there's a lot of opportunity with some of these businesses like the ones that we purchase that you can market, do a couple things here and there, and bam, you can see some great growth. And I'll teach you how to create passive income or really close to it that makes you recession and corona proof. Like I said before, this is not about giving you another job. And every opportunity is different. You have to figure out how much time you're willing to invest. And if it's really not a lot of time, you can find those deals as well. But you have to be very, very specific. On top of this course, I'm going to give you $2,994 in fast action bonuses when you register today. This is for this webinar only. I'm going to give you the recordings from our 2024 Social Media Revenue Summit. This has been the profession's #1 social media profit and growth training for over a decade. You'll also get the slide decks and the video tutorials. We do this event every year in Atlanta. That's a $997 value. So many clients have been through that training alone and added another zero to their income every year. So that's just so powerful. You're going to get unlimited email support from myself or my team, but mostly it's going to be from me because I'm going to work with you. So if you ever have any questions in between calls and such, I'll be happy to answer those. I'm also going to give you a one-on-one call with me when you're ready to pull the trigger and buy your first cash flowing business, because I really want to help you through that process along with any marketing plan in the future. That's $1,000 value. And you'll get free upgrades for life if we ever do any upgrades to this training. That's a $497 value. Now, in terms of the investment, I had a hard time putting this together because it's very difficult to put a price tag on the skill set that I've learned, quite honestly. One acquisition will net you 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, or more every single month. Like, what is this truly worth? I thought to myself, it was just very, very difficult. And if I priced this at $2,997, it would be an absolute steal. I'm not going to do that though. But I will say, like I mentioned before, massive opportunity. Whether you buy an internet-based business that's already cash flowing or something that's brick and mortar, you step into cash flow day one. This is like, it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around because we're used to the startup thing. We're used to having to build and build and build. This is totally different. So today, if you take action right now, you're only going to invest $997 for the 5-week masterclass, plus all of the additional bonus. And this is a very low price. Not only that, I'm going to give you a 6-month money-back guarantee because I'm so confident in the skill set that you're going to learn and that this is going to just knock your socks off. As I show you the ropes here, you're never going to be able to think in the same way again. Your mind will be stretched, and that's a great thing because I'm going to break this down at a second grade level for you. Bit by bit. This isn't biochemistry, and you don't need a ton of time to learn this. I'm going to distill the concepts very simply, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is so you have zero risk. In fact, this is arguably the most valuable skill set that I've ever learned. I'm not going to crowd this masterclass because I can realistically only handle so many chiropractors since my personal time is involved. I plan on capping it at 25 docs, and this is first come, first serve. So if this resonates with you, click the big yellow add to cart button that you see on the screen or on your phone right now and register immediately. These spots are going to fill up. I didn't have to put a very long presentation together today because I just felt that you would get the big idea. You would really understand how powerful the skill set is. And as you start to look at the world's wealthiest people, you find those common denominators, and this is a big one. Now, once you're in, you'll get an email within the next couple hours. After you're in, check your junk and spam or bulk folder just to make sure. It's so hard to land in the inbox these days. And by chance, if you don't get anything in the next couple hours, just send an email to info@dcincome.com. That's info@dcincome.com. And my assistant, Anna, she'll get you over everything that you need to start this masterclass and be on the same track with us. I'm so excited and happy to share this information with you. And, over the years, I've learned a lot of strategies about generating income online. But when I reflect back and I think that what's the fastest, and by the way, there's always risk with any venture, okay? There's always going to be risk. But when a business has been in business for 10 years, 15, 20 years, and it has this massive brand equity that people are just coming back to, it doesn't matter what type of business it is so minimal, the risk, that you'd be crazy. And if you've ever read Michael Gerber's E-Myth, where he talks about the technician, manager, and entrepreneur, you know that 8 out of 10 small businesses that start up from scratch, they fail within the first couple years. It's crazy. That's not the same thing. That's not what we're talking about. So it almost gives me goosebumps when I just talk about this because I've seen personal transformation in my own life, and I've been in networks and masterminds. In the last, couple years, I spend over 80 grand a year on different masterminds. I'm in 4 different masterminds on top of what I invested to learn this skill set. So I prioritize being in the right rooms, shortcuts. And if you want a shortcut, this is the masterclass you need to be involved with, because what took me a long time to learn, I'm going to give you the simple knowledge that you'll be able to apply in from day one. And this is the most valuable skill set. I would say that the top 0.001% have used to grow their wealth. So again, if you like the idea of creating automated cash flow streams on top of your practice, being able to have more freedom and flexibility, in something that's totally out of the box that no one else is teaching in the profession, click that big yellow add to cart button. Get in now before all the spots fill up. And realistically, you can turn your annual income into your monthly income someday. It's all about what you decide. There's no right or wrong to how much you would like to generate extra every single month. Whether you'd even like to stay in your chiropractic practice, that's great if you love taking care of patients. Or I've had some clients of mine use this information to buy other chiropractic practices. And you can grow and scale that way instead of not necessarily relying on social media all the time or referrals. You can just buy another practice that's close to you. There's so many opportunities out there and ways you can apply this skill set. So I just hope you see just a little bit of the possibility and potential. I look forward to working with you, and I promise I'm going to open your world and your eyes to just such an amazing skill set that I think will change your life. I'm excited to work with you. Click that big yellow add to cart button now. I've got a 6-month money back guarantee. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I can't wait to help you apply this business buying formula to enhance your life and your family's life. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Otherwise, I will see you on the inside. Cheers.